Hello there. So yeah, man, today was very interesting. I had two interviews, and well, I can say that I crushed both of them. Like I performed really well compared to the last ones. Um, of course, there's always things to improve. The first one, I was really nervous. It was remote, for a 1K base salary was like in the job post was 2K as base salary, but actually it turns out it was 1K. It's still like it's a good offer. So the guy briefly explained to me the offer, and then I asked a lot of questions about the training, how it works. But the thing is, they're not hiring right now. They're on, there will be only only gonna hire in March. So yeah, I mean it was good for repetition, but yeah. Or maybe he was lying. No, yeah, maybe he was lying. Fuck, yeah, yeah. I should always consider that from human beings. Anyway, then after that, I was nervous, but as I was, going through the interview, I was getting more comfortable and more confident about it, and yeah, I performed well. I asked a lot of questions, and then I was preparing for the other interview, which is on site. Uh, no, and it's again, like I said, big company, and especially like in this situation, like I can you can see how big it is a company. So I got there and like really fancy place, very big, a lot of others floors, or the first floor, the second floor. And I got there and I was waiting, and I was just thinking like, oh, that's interesting. And like I wasn't nervous because just the same day, I I've been through like a more tough environment, but it's still, like this was the first time. Yeah, it was the first time that I had a tough interview, you know, and like on site, like 95, like was a tough interview. Like not tough like the ones that I'm getting from the US, but it was interesting. It was a good challenge. So they asked, tell me about yourself, and then I was, because I have a formula. Uh, like current experience plus past experiences plus uh, pattern of behavior. So yeah, right now I'm looking for an environment with a lot of volume, focusing on outbound, because back then I've worked with cold calling, B2B and B2C, and yeah, and well, pretty much. And well, I like to work in an environment where there's a lot of structure that I can just follow. And then like the thing is, that was the psychologist and the manager of the sales department. So me and the manager of the sales department, like we vibed, we bound, you know, bonded. Yeah, we bound. She's really cool, and like she was very interested. No, well, at least she was apparent to be very interested in my experiences with remote sales and all. And like the thing is, it's hard for them to believe because a small town, I could be lying. That's the shit. I could be lying. So yeah, and I get like their skepticism because like anyone could say any type of shit. Like the contract that I send them, like you can easily do that like with ChatGPT. So yeah, there's that as well. So yeah, tough shit. But anyway, and then like they explained the offer, and then I presented myself really well in terms of behaving, and like there's this other guy, like they said we're not like running for like yeah, we're not like running for the same position, but you know um last job that I was in, they said the same thing, and turns out they were lying. So I don't believe that shit. So yeah, but anyway, like with him, like I shook his hand, and like because I was feeling this assignment, and then well, there were still like some things left. So he like we're in this room, like they explained the offer, and then I left the room. But before I left the room, I tapped on his shoulder and said, "Yeah, man, good luck." No, and like I think they liked that. Like, oh, this because I didn't have to do that, right? But anyway, got back and I filled the form, and then I wait for like I don't know 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's not that much, you know. I'm worse with like I'm used to worse shit, like 2, 3 hours. Yeah, so it was a good exercise, meditation one. And well, after that I got back, and then they started the questions, and it was cool. I like. I didn't feel nervous. Uh, and yeah, they explained. They asked about me, like what do you do? I said I train, and that's all. I train, and I search about sales. That's all that I do. Like they ask like, do you like on the weekends, like do you hang out? Do you go to places? I say, no, I'm a guy. I like to stay at home and I like to train. I meditate. I started to meditating, so there's that. But they ask, how's your relationship with your parents? I said, yeah, it's cool. And then like I was being very natural with the responses, and then she asked like, how do you like how do you behave with authority? Like do you, like if they like are you good taking orders? And I was like, yeah. Like that was the only time that I was like, they could see that, of course. Um, but I don't know. And then like they asked like how did you find out about this offer? I said there's a guy like he was one of my leads. I told them the brief story of us, like me closing him, you know, and was cool. Um, but yeah, and then they asked like what could you bring to us, like that's the pitch, right? So I told them like yeah I have experience in the U.S. market. I think that's very valuable. It's not a lot of people who can, bring this type of experience to the company. So yeah. Anyway, and then like the last question that I always do is like, what would prevent me from getting this role? And normally, like it works fine, but this time, like the psychologist, she looked at me and she was like, "Yeah, like you're being evaluated, like all the steps of the process." And we'll give you the answer. And then she gazed at me. I was like, oh fuck, that gaze. Like she gazed at me, like really, like yeah, don't try to be like yeah, it's Mark Cookie, not here, not with me. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, no, that's cool. I think because of that, maybe I won't get the offer. I don't know. Well, anyway, um, so I left, and I was thinking about it because honestly, I want the offer because it's solid, solid company. Uh, it's close to my home, yeah, to my house, and yeah. And then I got back. I studied a little more the sales resources that I have. And then I went to talk with my friend, explaining the offer and all. And shit, I changed a lot. That's the shit. I changed a lot ever since I began like this journey of sales, and like now it's something else. It's self development, it's meditation, it's becoming the man that I want to become the better version of me. It's business, it's communication, it's leadership. It's like another thing. And well, I do want this offer, but if I don't get the offer, No, there's a lot of other opportunities out there. I'm not gonna fucking give up. I'm gonna continue to like moving forward. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna continue moving forward until I win. And fuck, I'm sleepy. But I'm gonna continue moving forward until I win. As long as I'm in the game, I'm not gonna lose because it's an infinite game. So yeah, let's see. Let's see tomorrow. Tomorrow I have this other interview, and probably I'm gonna get the answer tomorrow. Probably, and that's it. Like if I get a negative response, it's part of the game, and I'm gonna learn with that. If I get a yes, well, that's gonna change things again. But yeah, man, let's see how it goes. Let's keep moving forward. Let's conquer. Take care, bro.